Welcome to Jobs in Tech. Welcome to the show today. Jobs in Tech. Of course, everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows what's going on in the world. What's happening is this crazy thing called what, Brad?
What?
This crazy thing everybody's talking about is changing the world. They're going to take over the world. They're going to destroy the human race. What's happening?
I call that the Alan Turing effect, meaning AI.
AI.
Yep.
Yes, artificial intelligence. It's all over the place. So yeah, we're going to be jumping on it. But specifically, we're going to be jumping on it as it pertains to jobs in tech.
Absolutely. So we want to talk more along the lines of what does it mean for you if you're in the tech industry? What does it mean if you're a developer? What does it mean if you're an engineer? We want to cover that.
If it means anything.
Absolutely.
Which
it may not.
Well, of course it does. Yeah, let's face
right.
it.
No, it does. I mean, it's touching everything, and we would be foolish or naive to not cover it.
And it just seems that the growth has happened so quickly. I remember just a few years ago, just AI was not very good.
Right.
You know, we were talking to Alexa and Siri and all that, and it was okay. But now, I mean,
totally
it's getting
changed.
Downright crazy where it can write code for you.
It's getting scary. I actually just saw today that I don't remember the name, but Microsoft announced that their AI platform is the most cognitive functioning AI out there.
What does that mean?
Essentially, like it can replicate human cognitive thinking.
Does it pass the Turing test?
That I don't know. I just saw a little post on it, so I thought I would mention it here.
As far as I know, that still has not been tested, not been tested, but not been passed. Which is funny because a lot of people argue that yes, it has, and this, that, and the other. But as far as I understand it, the Turing test has still not been. You know, that there is real thought going on in an AI. It's really just algorithms that figure stuff out, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So let's start talking about the job situation, the world as it connects to AI. I want to ask just the straight up question: is AI affecting jobs in tech?
Not yet. I think we're starting to. Right now, I believe we're in the phase of it's helping, but it's not taking over.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will get to a point to where it does take over. I think from a development standpoint, I think the developer is going to go away.
What, dude? That's some pretty crazy. That's some pretty crazy talk.
Not really. I mean, look at what it's doing now. I mean,
now it's already writing code.
Yes, some people are already using it. Some companies are already using it to write code.
But they have developers that are cleaning the code.
Essentially,
it's still not perfect yet.
Depending on where you're at and what you're asking it to do, it's not perfect, but it's probably 80 to 85% of the way there.
And as the technology is growing, it's gonna get better.
Absolutely.
Inevitably,
it's
it will be able
conclusion.
to write code better than us humans.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if it would write it better. It's just going to write it faster.
Faster and cleaner, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's going to be most likely potentially error-free or 99% error-free.
Yeah. So what time scale? I mean, I know this is crazy future stuff, but time scale. What are we looking at? You said, and I tend to agree with you. I think a lot of people probably agree with you that it is going to replace developers.
Oh, absolutely.
Now that doesn't mean it's going to replace engineers. And I think that is the piece that everybody forgets. We still have to have humans that gives it an idea to create something.
Absolutely. And on that front, I think where it's going to shift is, like I said, the developer is going to go away. And what's going to happen is you're going to need that engineer to tell the chat AI conceptually what you want it to do and how it should be structured. Now, from that standpoint, I think it's going to go in that route. And I think what you're going to see is it's going to disrupt the industry in a way that not a lot of things have in most recent years. So I think what it's going to do is it's going to be this adaptation and people are either going to say, okay, we've got it and we're running with it, or they're going to be left behind.
And I think this, to me, this is something that developers right now really need to listen to.
Absolutely.
And if you're not, I think if you're a developer and you're not toying and playing with AI and not seeing what the code looks like and what's wrong with it, because if you do and you are in it, then you could cross over into that engineering platform.
Well, absolutely.
If you're not, if you're ignoring it, hey, I'm human and I'm always going to do it better than this, that's asinine thought.
Absolutely. That's foolishness.
Yeah.
Now, what I think you can be doing in the meantime is you can start to re-educate yourself. If all you've done is development, and let's say you have maybe a certificate or maybe some dev school that you've gone to, start to understand how that engineering side works, because the engineering side is always going to be there. Now, this is just my foregone conclusion, but I think if you're a dev school or something like that that's just teaching a specific programming language or a specific task or specific way to do things that just kind of spits things out, you're going to need to adapt. You're going to need to change your curriculum. Otherwise,
you're
the
whole learning world. And we've seen this where people are talking about what are teachers going to do now, since a kid can pop in and have the greatest essay they've ever read in their life. Now something has to give, something has to change.
Right.
And you're saying in the dev world or at least the tech world, that learning has to change too.
Absolutely. It's going to have to.
Yeah.
Because if what's the point of teaching something if a robot or AI can already do it for you? Mm-hmm. You're going to need to change your model. How are you going to restructure? What are you going to offer? Are you going to be more on the engineering side and the thought process of it, or are you going to be left behind?
Yeah, you're going to have to learn how to coexist with the AI, because it's not going away.
Exactly.
And we have to figure out where we are in that space,
exactly.
Especially in jobs in tech, because tech is where it's going to heavily take over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And as we evolve into AI and what it means, I think you're going to start to see more digital transformations being sped up because of this. Companies can get the data that they want, and they can make business decisions based off of that data, but 90% of businesses don't know how to extract that data, and that's where I think AI is really going to be helpful in understanding, hey, we can already do this. We can get the information we need. How can we decipher it quicker? How can we make better business decisions? How can we be more lean? How can we be more productive? How can we be more cutting edge? And they're going to do that, and they're going to develop those apps if they're not already out there for AI.
So you're saying even DBAs are going to be losing out? I mean, why would you need a database administrator
potentially
if you just put in your chat, hey, spit out this information?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking like a big, a database engineer, I think, or database admin, I think they could potentially go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is interesting.
Huge. This is game changing.
If people aren't really thinking, and it seems to me in history, we as humans do this a lot. We pretend that no, this is not a problem. I think newspapers did that back when the internet came out. A lot of different people said, no, this is not anything to worry about, and then they go away, of course, or they completely fail. We can't do that.
No, you really can't.
In jobs in tech, and if you're in the industry, you are going to have to connect with and understand where AI is going and where your place is.
100% agree. Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to have to. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will. Now, if you're not, you're going to be left behind, as you said, and you won't be in tech.
Yeah.
You will have no job in tech if you don't understand how this is going to change or alter your world.
Yeah, you're going to be working at Pizza Hut.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Hey, what's wrong with Domino's? What's wrong with Papa John's?
Right. I'm old school, man.
Right.
Pizza Hut's been around a long time. I actually was a Pizza Hut driver back in the day. Yeah.
That's some interesting news I never knew.
Yeah, something you know about, Bobby.
Right, absolutely.
Back in the very early 90s.
Okay.
Or late 80s, can't remember.
Late 80s, early 90s.
I can't remember. Anyway, those were the days.
In between the whole band session?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, right. We were called Hippie Hut because all of us were long hairs. We all were, and we were one of the Pizza Huts that was just a delivery. We weren't an eat-in place. And we'd all put our little Pizza Hut hats on and tuck our hair up into the hat,
Right, yeah.
and we'd cut this little line so it looked like we were clean cut guys, so we'd get tips. We also delivered. We delivered to a really rich area, and we delivered to Cracktown. And
right
so
in between.
when you would go in and you'd get the thing, you'd try and figure out how to give the other guy Cracktown, and you could get the rich the rich side where you knew you'd get a good tip.
Right.
Anyway, gosh, talk of the times have changed.
Right.
Let's
So now you could have used AI to figure that out.
True. I just need to come in 5 minutes later.
Right. Exactly. Make sure you don't get that bad order.
Yeah. With that said, and you kind of touched on it about learning, we're going to have to. People are going to have to learn how to teach different, and we as humans, I think, are going to have to learn differently.
Well, we're going to have to adapt. We're going to have to learn what is AI's place, and how are we going to adapt to it? How is it going to change our lives for the better? Now, this is just my personal opinion, but I think there's going to have to be some governing body or some oversight into what is possible and what's not, because I think this is going to be a slippery slope. We're going to get into some things where we're not sure if it's right or if it's legal or if it's ethical to do. Mm-hmm. So this is just my own personal views, but I think we're going to need to figure that out, because AI is growing so fast. These are some of the basic questions we need to ask in order to see, should we go down this path with AI? Is this going to be helpful?
Yeah, and my thought really is that we need to go all in. I mean, we need to embrace it. I personally think we need to embrace it, or we're going to be left behind.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in college existence.
Absolutely.
For existence, not for instance. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Many years ago, when I was in college, I took a programming class, and I hated it. I hated every minute of it, man. You took 2 hours to make the cursor blink a certain way, or it put out number 2. It was just brutal. These were back. That's how old I am. It was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
But and traditionally, that's how you take a class, and you would learn code or whatever, even if it's visual now. But I see it being okay. Now you just need to learn what to tell the AI to get the same results.
I mean, yes.
That will be, to me, I see that being taught. Okay, you still need this result. You still need to figure this out, but you'll probably use AI to get to there. Because if we don't just embrace it, I just see that we have to embrace it.
Well,
that's
the thing.
What I'm getting at.
I think AI is so big right now, and we're still trying to figure all this out, that companies are hiring people to figure out what they can do with AI. They're still trying to figure out. Companies are hiring for what AI can potentially do, and they want people to figure that out for them. So we're kind of in this place where we're still on the forefront. We're still new. We're still figuring it out. Mm-hmm. And that was to the point of my last comment or statement, is we need to have some I guess, not a governing body, but we need to have some understanding of what's ethical and what's right to do with AI. What can we have it assist with? What can we not have it assist with?
Like, give me some examples, because I'm trying to think. If it writes really, really good marketing copy, and it's super manipulative, and I've even seen that they're worried about it messing with polls and like voting in government, because they'll be so persuasive that they'll persuade people to vote differently. And I'm just like, God, is that any different than a really smart marketer that knows how to do those things? I mean, it just means normal people now can manipulate. I want to know what you think by being ethical. What would be unethical?
I mean, using it for harm. If it's going to cause somebody, potentially.
Well, what would
physical
be
harm.
Like, hey, AI, write me a virus? Is that what you mean?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I could see something where somebody decides to say, "Give me a virus."
Yeah, I'm curious what would happen.
So again, we're so new. We're on this bandwagon. I don't want to lose sight of what are the ramifications if we don't have governance, not necessarily governance, but if we don't have ecosystem that fosters innovation rather than something that can be bad and used for bad.
I see it like in a car or whatever, where you have a governor on it, where it can only go a certain speed or something. You know what I mean? Are we going to have AI governors that says it can only be this smart, or it can only do this much kind of stuff? I don't know.
I don't want to limit AI to that. I mean, and I'm not the person in charge, but I don't think we should limit it in that regard. But again, like I said, I mean, back to the whole topic. I don't want to see somebody be put in harm's way because something that AI could have prevented, or something that AI did in terms of giving some personal information about somebody, or giving somebody's address out when somebody can get it when they shouldn't have. What sort of protections are going to be in place for that?
So you're talking about social engineering AI.
Potentially.
Oh, yeah, why not? I mean, AI it still will probably not be smart enough to kind of understand that kind of stuff.
No.
So, yeah.
That's what I'm saying is, I mean, if we live in a social society where things are so readily accessible and people's information is public and out there, what's to stop somebody from putting in a request for something like that? What's to stop somebody into putting something in there like that can be put on a dating site and attract the wrong people, or attract maybe somebody that they shouldn't?
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting 5 years. I think in the next 5 years we're gonna see a lot of change.
We're going to see a ton of change, and I think.
And 5 years is not that long.
No, it's really not. And in my personal opinion, I think we're going to be full blown into AI and integrated into almost everyday life within the next 10 years. At some point, some interaction that you have is going to be based off of AI.
It's already so close.
We are.
I mean, I use it daily in one form or fashion, even talking to Alexa or whatever. And even Google searches in some ways is kind of an AI and understanding all of that stuff. But I'm on ChatGPT every day, playing because it's interesting.
Absolutely.
Trying to just throw it and see what's it going to throw at me now.
Right.
I'm just dumbfounded every day that it can do some of the stuff. It just gets better and better, though.
Oh, absolutely. But not to beat a dead horse, and I really kind of want to stop talking about this topic, but. What's to stop somebody from putting some bad information out, or getting some information that they shouldn't have by using AI?
Yeah, like where somebody lives, or
exactly, or I don't know, the best place to bury a body or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and inevitably, any technology that comes out there, people are going to find a way to manipulate it for bad.
Exactly, and the whole premise was, how do we? I don't know the right answer to this, nor do I want to try to assume that I know the right answer to this. But where is too far? What is too much? How do we govern that?
Yeah, and that's going to be to come, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's what we need to figure out. And I love the innovation.
A lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the innovation and I love where we're going with it, but let's not be so gung ho to hurry and rush into everything that we missed the boat on making sure that people are safe and taken care of and their information is protected.
It almost feels to me like we'll figure that out after there's a big problem. It feels like that right now in the space. It's like, go, make AI, make it as good as it can. And I think it won't be until something really bad happens that they go, okay, whoa, calm down.
Right. And that's the unfortunate thing to me is I think we need to be thinking about that now. That needs to be on our forefront. And if we're not, then that's foolish on our part. Because sadly, we do have people that decide to do bad things, and that's what they enjoy to do, and we need to be ready for that. We need to be thinking about that. We need to have that thought of how do we prevent those things from happening.
Wouldn't it be interesting to have like AI fighting AI?
Yeah. Or even like Minority Report or something like that.
Yeah, future. Oh crap! Oh my gosh, we went down a rabbit hole.
iRobot.
We're still going down a rabbit hole. I want to ask though, to get back to kind of jobs in tech. How do you think this affects job skills in the market as far as people goes? What is the job skills that you think people should start really honing in on and focusing in on being? And I know you talked about it a little bit, but I want to go back and kind of talk about that.
Hit that again. I think the biggest thing is understand the capabilities of what AI can do and understand how you can use it to your best advantage.
Specifically in tech.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's say, like I said, I mean, we've used the analogy of a developer. Well, if you're an engineer, you've already got the leg up, but learn how you're going to implement that into your processes. Learn how you're going to implement that into your company. What's your policy around using AI? How can you use it to be better from a workforce perspective?
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is see a bunch of people getting laid off. So what can we do now? We can be more preventative.
Yeah.
Take the steps now to figure out how your company is going to use it.
How are you going to integrate, not just let it take over?
Correct.
But how are you going to integrate it to make the company stronger, better,
Exactly.
and the employees even more secure? I think that's possible.
Oh, I do
but
as well.
You have to be proactive to do that.
Absolutely.
As a company, you have to be proactive.
And that's what you need to be thinking about now. Those questions need to be having answers now, not 2, 3, 4 years from now, but right now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we've been doing this show for a few years now, and we've had a lot of people on the show, and I'm excited to have new people on the show. I think even in the past few years, AI has been a thing we've been talking about before it got really popular and hyped up.
Absolutely.
In tech, AI has been a thing for a while.
Yeah,
right?
In the form of, yes, I think AI has been there in the form of like an automation or
their developers are making this AI automation
low code, no code.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's right in that realm.
But I'm curious to see in the future what people are going to be talking about that we interview.
Yes, and I'm very excited to see kind of what they say and where they think it's going. And maybe that's a question we need to add to our list, Bobby, is how do you think AI is going to affect
your company?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we do need to add that.
So
it's inevitable. We have to talk about it because it's not going anywhere, and it is a part of our lives.
Oh, absolutely.
From here forward, unless we have some kind of catastrophic war, blow up, sun beaming down, aliens eating us all. I mean, unless we have something like that, then we're probably going to have AI in our lives.
It's in the machines. It's all in the machines.
Yeah, and maybe we already are just an AI construct anyway. According to Elon, we probably are.
We may be. We don't know. If I can get that out. See, I can't even get that out.
Which means this is a moot point now because we're just a part of the machine anyway.
Right. Maybe.
I had to go down that little. You had to go down that little place. Why not have a little bit of fun with it? Well, I think this is really interesting. We could probably talk all day about.
Oh, I'm sure
both of us have a strong opinion and about the future of technology and what's going on in it.
I didn't really ask you. I mean, where do you think it's going? I mean, what do you see? What do you see? How do you see AI affecting you and your business in the next 5 years?
Yeah, that is a good question. I kind of come from a different world. My IT services company.
Yeah.
Most MSPs and stuff out there, they do a lot of hardware sales and those kind of things. And I believe just like AI, hardware is going to be going away too. And it's all going to be cloud services and stuff like that. That's just inevitable. It's going to be eventually. And if you're as a technology support company focused on the hardware sales, which a lot of them do. I mean, 70% of their revenue sometimes comes from that. I don't do that. We really focus on service and what that looks like and taking care of the client.
Okay.
So right now I haven't seen what that looks like for AI but man, could AI take over a network administrator and looking at IP? I mean, it could probably look at traffic and how to enhance that. I don't know where that's at yet, though. That's a great question. I haven't thought
all the way through
about it. To me, it seems like that's a ways away. That's not just around the corner. Do you think it's around the corner?
It's here before you know it. I mean, how much more do you think, from your perspective, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, do you think that AI could help your guys maybe troubleshoot some issues that you're having, or something like that?
Yeah, I guess, but that's what Google's for. I mean, what I could
True.
put it in Google and say, hey, I'm getting this error. What should I do with that? Or I could put it in AI. Would one be better than the other? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, is there a way that maybe you could
That's a good question.
diagnose a situation before it happens using AI?
Maybe. Actually, now that we're talking about it, it sounds a little interesting.
It does.
We've been for so long as tech people. I know me being in the industry for 30 years, or how
Close to.
Yeah, close to 30 years. It's always been just a search thing. I mean, when there's a problem, I don't magically know most of the answers. And
but you're the tech guy. You should.
I know, and that's why when you're with a client, you're like, okay, I've seen this problem before. I just need to do a little research. I think I know what's going on. Just give me a second. And it's holy crap. And you go get on Google and you freaking search. You're like, oh yeah, there it is. And that's what the problem is. This is a checkbox that needed to be checked.
Sounds like you got an amazing system there.
Yeah, we've been doing that 20 years,
right.
dude.
Exactly. I love it. That's awesome.
So you're right though. Maybe that is a hey, chap. What do you we've got this situation. What should we do? Gosh, I think I might try that.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it too, I mean, maybe there's something to where you can use AI to automatically look for certain codes or things to pop up, and then have an automated response into
yeah. See that's where it gets a little freaky. If AI has control of traffic and how traffic is used and where IPs are going and coming, and that gets a little freaky to me, because then AI has control over the whole thing.
It does.
At that point, I mean, we probably couldn't even turn it off if something went crazy wrong.
Well, again, I mean, I think that's how you architect and structure it, but I mean...
but if it goes rogue, it doesn't matter.
It's not going to go rogue.
I know, but some people think that. It's going to go rogue.
If we're the ones setting up the parameters, there's no way it could go rogue.
All right. Yeah, didn't you see Short Circuit back in the day? Lightning strike could change anything.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh! Now we've went full circle. We've gone to ridiculousness. Well, this is an interesting topic, interesting talk. I think we're going to be talking about it a lot. Probably jobs in tech.
We will.
Just to let the listeners know, we are going to start interviewing folks again. It's been a while. We've got quite a few in there.
So I know we have three interviews scheduled coming up for the next month. So we're actively working to get more people on the show. So if you happen to know any companies or anybody that wants to come on and promote their company and talk about all the cool tech stuff they're doing and what they're doing with tech and why it's such a good place to work, definitely come onto the show. We want to hear about it. Give us their info. We'll reach out to them. We'll get in touch, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, folks, thanks for listening. This has been brought to you by AI. Just kidding. All right, we will see you next time. Thank you for listening to Jobs in Tech. Gosh, I have too much fun with that. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.